Hello and welcome. It's delightful to see the names in the chat and recognize many of them and many of you. So hello. And so Monday I said Samadhi is simplicity. Yesterday I said Samadhi is settledness, settling. And today I'd like to say that Samadhi is steadiness, being steady with awareness, with the attention. Being steady not only in the present moment, but being steady in resting attention at a center point. So the settling point may be the gathering point, the point within where the awareness can feel committed, it can feel welcomed. We're a place within where it's possible for the awareness to become absorbed or be steady in the simplicity of the experience we're having. And and so there's a variety of these centering points where we gather ourselves. And I think of them, the centering points, as there might be more than one at any given one time even. But I think of them as the center as like the center of a trampoline, where if we sit at the middle of the trampoline, it bows, it settles down, bends down to hold our weight. And if we have, as I used to have with my little kids, a trampoline in the backyard, then all the little balls that they had in the trampoline would all roll towards that center. And we didn't have to gather the balls. They would, if we stood in the middle, they would just roll down there. So if we can find that, have a place, and the steadiness of staying on that place for attention becomes that kind of centering place where all the different desperate parts of who we are can begin to gather there together. One of the things that's helpful for developing samadhi through being steady is if we're steady, for example, and what I'm teaching is steady with breathing, the rhythm of breathing in and breathing out, as it's experienced in the body, and in particular in the torso, and even more so in the area around the belly. The movements of the belly as we breathe. But it could be the whole torso, the kind of expansive movements of the whole torso as we breathe in, and the gathering together, the collecting, coming back, settling back on the exhale. It's a variety of things. That there's a kind of that center point where we're resting so that everything can kind of roll towards it. That as we're there steady, don't set up a war or a really strong conflict, any conflict, with the thinking mind. Certainly the art of meditation is to learn how not to be caught in the world of thought, taking you away from the present. But also, you don't have to think that you're supposed to push them away either. There is an art to holding steady on what you're being mindful of, what you're focusing on, and then letting your thoughts recede to the background. And if they can be in the background, they can be there kind of, you can kind of know you're thinking, but you don't have to be involved in it. It's like, for example, maybe it says you're having a nice conversation. Maybe it's like you're having a nice conversations with a friend in a restaurant, and there's other people talking around you, but you're not, you know they're talking, but you're not listening to them. You're staying focused on your friend. So in this way, you know that you're thinking, but you're not focused on it. You're focused on your friend, the breathing, to feel it, listen, sense, be there, be steady. Be a steady friend, to be really present on breathing. So to assume a meditation posture, and sometimes I think of the posture of meditation, that one that kind of frees up or opens up the front of the torso, so it's easier to breathe. The chest is not collapsed. We're not collapsed in such a way that the belly is kind of crunched up, but rather the feeling of being open and kind of like an open chest. Maybe the belly is open and expansive, so that as you relax the belly, soften the belly hangs forward. It's not pulled in. And maybe feeling the belly, the soft belly, as you breathe in deeply, feel the gentle expansion, pressure, pushing outwards or downwards that happens in your belly as you breathe in. And how, after a while, with the in-breath maybe, that expansion and pressure in the belly helps lift up the rib cage and helps expand the torso around the ribs. And then discovering how you exhale, how the body exhales, a long exhale. Is it first from the chest that contracts, or the belly, or both together? On the exhale, relaxing and softening the whole body. And letting the breathing return to normal. And with a normal exhale, soften the body. And then to settle in a simple way to the experience of breathing, maybe to a place within which is the centering place, the gathering place, maybe at the end of the exhale, where something shifts and the inhale begins. And if you're with a friend who somehow is challenged by something and needs support, but the support they need is just to know you're there, and you put your hand on the top of their back. Just keep your hand there so they know they're being accompanied. Your hand stays there, steady. In the same way, the hand of awareness is placed gently against the back of breathing. So it's not a frontal piercing of attention to the breath, a strain, but coming from behind. You're coming up and being there to feel and sense in a gentle way, to let the breathing know you're there for it. And then keeping the hand of awareness with the exhale. So you're accompanying the exhale through the whole length of the exhale, however short or long it might be, from the beginning to the end. You don't lose contact. Experimenting with a steadiness through the whole length of the inhale. And then accompanying the exhale, not pushing it or demanding anything from it, but keeping the hand of attention there, in touch with the whole exhale from beginning to end. And then both the inhale and the exhale, a steady attention to the whole inhale, followed by a steadiness with the whole exhale. Staying close to the simplicity of awareness of breathing, not making it a big deal or project. A simplicity of attention that stays steady, intimate with the full experience of breathing in, breathing out. From time to time, letting there be a settling of the whole body into the breathing. And see if you can not be interested in your thinking. You don't have to listen to it or attend to it. Let it recede to the background. It's not important for these moments of meditation. And instead, to trust being with breathing, trusting a steady attention, that stays with the whole length of the inhale and the whole length of the exhale, over and over again. And if it's helpful, you might be counting the breath to keep you there. And the more fully you can fill awareness with breathing, the less room there is for thinking. And if there's any way it feels as if you're holding yourself back from the breathing, relax that holding. So it might feel more like you're entering into the experience of the body breathing. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to whatever degree you can appreciate a steadiness of attention here with the breathing, with yourself, with the body, with being aware itself. Even if it's a challenge, is there some way that you can appreciate a continuity of awareness? The kind of continuity of awareness you would offer to a friend if you're listening to them, to their challenge that they're describing and need to talk about. A continuity of being present, so they know that you care through how you listen. And may it be that the way that we learn to attend and be present for ourselves in meditation, may it support us in our ability to listen well to others, to attend to others so we can understand them better, know them better. May it be that this practice that we do supports us in our ability to be attuned, be considerate, be respectful of other people, so they feel that our respect through how we are aware of them, how we listen. And may it be that how we listen to the suffering world is medicine to any feeling that people have that they're alone, unattended, uncared for. May we live in such a way that we contribute to all beings being cared for, being respected and listened to. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And may our ability to be present for others contribute to their well-being and freedom. Thank you. So hello and welcome to this series on Samadhi. And Monday I talked about Samadhi as simplicity. Yesterday as Samadhi as settledness. And today as steadiness, a steady attention to the present moment, a steady attention to the experience we're having that we're really settling on. And this idea of steady attention is closely connected to the idea of continuity of attention, continuity in the present moment. And the idea is to hang out with the breath so we get absorbed, so we get more engaged in it. And some people find this hard to do because they expect that somehow they'll find in the breathing something wonderful, like there's a key there or some pleasure there or something profound there to be found. If they keep looking at the breathing is a solution. And the real kind of warmth and beauty and delight of Samadhi is not found in the object that we pay attention to, but in the subjective experience of being intimate or connected or steadied absorbed in the experience we're having. So we don't want to look for the solution in the experience of breathing, but something happens in the interactivity, the interaction between us and breathing, us and the object of concentration, in the way in which we attend to it, the steadiness, the settledness, the simplicity, and the continuity of attention that that is more continuous than the continuity of being lost in thought. And so to kind of stay and rest there. So for one of the things that can support this steadiness and continuity of attention is the wise use of our imagination. Sometimes if we have the ability to imagine in a nice way, in our own way, that somehow, some form of imagination that brings us connected and inspired and kind of riding along with the breathing, it can be easier to have the continuity. So I'll offer you some examples. And the idea is that you find, if you want to do this, you find an example that works for you. So something I did in my early years of practice was imagining that my in-breaths and out-breaths were like the slow, gentle movements of the wings of a large bird. Breathing in and out was the way the wings going up and down. And sometimes with the exhale, if it was at all extended, it was like I was gliding along in the wind. And then I would lift it up again and let them go down. And there was something about this for me, this imagery of being in the high sky and gently kind of the breathing being intimately connected to, associated with the wings flapping, that got me kind of really engaged, the continuity, staying right there with it. Another thing that I've done is sometimes I've imagined, and I've told this many times before, but that it's a little bit, when I was a little kid, I loved going on a push scooter. And the way that a push scooter would work is that I would, with one foot kick the ground to push the scooter forward. And then I would ride the momentum until momentum started to slow. And then I would gently push again, ride, push. And so for the meditation on breathing, the inhale was like the push. And the exhale was riding the momentum. And it just felt so good to ride that momentum to the end of the exhale, and then I would gently push with the inhale. And that imagery of doing it that way kind of harnessed my imagination to help me be present, rather than the imagination taking me off to some other lands and time and things that were going on. Just like the counting is taking thinking and using it for the purpose of being present. So there can be the wise use of imagination that brings you into the present more rather than taking you away. So the example I used in this last meditation of putting your gentle, safe hand on someone's back, or feeling someone there for you, holding you. Maybe you're walking in an unsteady way in a place that's a little dangerous, and someone's just there, letting you know they're there to catch you. So if you fall, they'll take care of you, and or something like that. So if that that might be nice, like just right there. It's related to an imagination I used also many years ago. When I was in college, I took a massage class, and the teacher taught us to when you're massaging someone, never have your hand, always have one hand that's always connected to the person you're massaging. So there's no interruption to that, and there's no surprise of being touched again if you get some massage oil to, to use more of it for the massage. And so you always have that contact. So I found that a nice imagery sometimes of being with the breath and meditation. Never lose contact, stay there. But for some people, that's not the right image. Some people, the bird flying is not the right image. Another image I've used, because I've been doing this for 50 years, so I've had a series of them. Another one that I've enjoyed sometimes is thinking of the exhale as riding a slide. And I'm just kind of going down like a little kid going on a slide, ooh, just riding the slide. And that kind of just kept me right there, and it kind of made it kind of fun, and then kind of, like a being on a slide. So you might have your own imagery that might work for you. And I know some people have the image of breathing as being a big wheel, and that they just get the sense of this wheel turning helps them stay with almost like the inhale and the exhale are the turning of the wheel. And just that simple one keeps them connected and involved. Some people, the imagination is not what's going to help them stay steady and continuous with the breathing. And there might be something interesting about the sensations of breathing, or more usefully, something pleasant about it, some pleasure that's to be found there. And I've used, for example, I find generally exhale to be more pleasant than the inhale. Sometimes it's been the opposite. But to be sure to be there for whatever pleasantness or pleasure, satisfactory sensations are there, if in the cycle of breath, and then ride it, feel it, sense it. And some people find that they can get absorbed in breathing because they begin really tuning into wherever there's some sense of pleasantness, pleasure in breathing. I've known some people who've adjusted their breathing just a little bit, just so it can be a little bit more pleasant, more enjoyable. Sometimes breathing a little bit slightly bigger breaths, sometimes relaxing and the belly and softening somewhere in the body, so some part of the cycle of breath is pleasant. And so rather than imagination to help be present, it's the ability to tune into something that's pleasant with the breathing and riding that pleasure, allowing oneself to feel the pleasure, taking it in. And all along, this idea of steadiness and continuity of attention with breathing should be done without any strain, without any expectation, without measuring how well we're doing, so that, of course, we're going to wander off. Of course, the continuity is going to not be continuous. And so find a way to meditate so that the loss of touch with the breathing, the loss of staying connected and steady, is folded in as part of a healthy meditation. It's not a problem. It's not but rather just, of course, your mind's going to do that. And then find a relaxed way to begin again, to come back again, to come back again. And here also I used imagination. And I don't think at first it was a choice or something I thought about. It was just something an image that arose as I was doing the practice. And that was that I learned to become, at some point in this practice, I learned to have a friendly attitude towards my breathing, to my thinking. I didn't set it up as a tension or as a problem. But then if I found myself wandering off in thought, I wouldn't tense up, I wouldn't be critical, I wouldn't see it as a problem. But the image I had was that there was a horse that had escaped the corral. And so the way to bring it back was to ride another horse and ride right next to it. So being companions, riding together, and just go along with the horse that escaped for a little while, and then take a big arc around 180 degrees, so that to come back to the corral, come back to where we're supposed to be. And so that imagery came up as I would notice that I was thinking, and I would kind of go along with it a little bit. I wasn't going to immediately tense up or do something about it. Just know I was thinking, accompany thinking a little bit, and then gently kind of had this idea of, okay, come back, let's go back, let's make a big circle, not a jerk back, not, just turn around 180 degrees and just jerk back, but just gentle, long curve. And how long would that take? Maybe it took 2 or 3 seconds to do that process. And then when I came back to breathing that way, I was much more settled than I was before. I went, in the beginning of wandering off in thought, and it was, okay, here I am. And then, okay, let's have continuity. Let's be steady here. Let's be committed in a loving way, or absorbed in just the simplicity of this. Simple, settled, and steady here. So I hope these ideas give you something to find for yourself that supports you with this steadiness, continuity of attention. And then I thought that an announcement to make is that this Friday we would have a community meeting for our 7 a.m. Sangha, for those of you who can. And I'll post a Zoom link on IMC's What's New and in the IMC calendar, and also Friday I'll post it on here on YouTube and for the chat. And so then at 7:45 we'll switch over to Zoom, and we can have some period of question and answers, some discussion. We'll do a breakout group, so those of you can you can all kind of meet a few of the people who are part of this online Sangha. So thank you very much, and I look forward to being here again tomorrow morning.